to distorting and transforming in Illustrator. So, hello. Feel free to say hello. Say hi, I would love to hear from you. Cool. All right, so yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not sure where you're joining me. Feel free to say hello. That'd be fantastic. I'm going to be distorting and transforming in Illustrator, and this is kind of a little preview of what I'm going to be doing on Adobe Live here in about 30 minutes. So should be pretty good. And thanks so much for hanging out with me. Just really appreciate you spending your quality time with me. Hi there, Adobe students. So let's go ahead and get into this. I just want to quickly talk about distorting and transforming. And you can see what I have going on right here. Just a simple character, right? These are the fundamentals of distorting and transforming, okay? So right now I can take this character, you know, and I might want this character to look fuzzy. I want to distort it in some way. Oftentimes it means going to the direct selection tool and people will start bending these points. You can make life simpler for yourself if you actually go into some of the effects. So I'm going to show you how to distort things mainly about 3 different ways. One of them is using effects. Okay, so right in here, what do I want to do? I kind of want to like, I don't know, like roughen them up, right? So that's what I want to do. Select roughen. I already get these settings that make him look fuzzy. So I'm already distorting him in a way, right? I can increase this. I can make it smooth. And watch when I take this up quite a bit, you can see how it can make this character look fuzzy, right? And I get it. This guy looks like Mike from Monsters, Inc. But I could also play with the size. We could really see how that bursts out like so, okay? So again, just using effects to give it, give this character maybe a little bit of fuzziness in this case, you know? That's a little much. Now when I go to absolute, by the way, it's going to make it much shorter, and I can see that. I can make that size a little bit more, but this might be a little bit more realistic for what I want to do. All right, that being said, click OK. There that is. Guess what? I could do the same thing to these ones, applying the roughen to these little antennas like so, and then we have just some quick distortions that we can do. Afroja, good to see you. Hamza and everyone. By the way, this is just, you're getting a little preview of today's daily creative challenge, right? So you will be able to watch that. Here's the link if you need that, and I'll go ahead and post that to chat. It's a little bit longer form, what I'll be doing there, so fantastic. There you go, just pinning that comment. So that's one thing we could do. Now, if I really want to give this character some life, I can actually select, there happens to be some text right there, but I can select the whole character, and I really want to bend him to my will, right? Right now he's very like linear. I want to give him more character, right? Selecting the entire character. In this case, I'm just going to group this character, and I'm going to go right over here. It is, actually just pressed it, it is the Puppet Warp tool. So selecting Puppet Warp, okay, I get these little pins. It automatically adds a couple of them, but I can add my own, right? So I might need one in the foot right here. But this allows me to take this antenna and pull that out like so. And I don't know if you could see it, but let's zoom in on that. I get this rotation capability right there. So I can kind of rotate that a little bit. That's going to be more helpful when it comes to the feet. But this enables me to just have a little bit more fun with this character, to distort him and just kind of bring him to life a little bit more. And again, with the feet, I can pull this foot out and then rotate it like so. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now, rotating that, pulling this foot out if I want to. And this is much easier to do than bending vectors, okay? So there's my character, hit enter, right? That's using this tool. Let's take it to the next level. Let's turn on the backgrounds. Now when it comes to text, when it comes to distorting text, what you wanna do is you wanna do an envelope distort. You can go to Object, Envelope, and right in here, envelope distort. We want to make it with a warp. And this is anytime you see somebody make a badge or something, they're using one of these options. So here's my warp options, whether we arc it, arc lower, arc above, you get the idea. Arc is different than arch. Arch will make sure the text is always going to be like vertical, straight up and down. But I'll just do a simple flag kind of like that. And I can obviously control those properties, make it more or less. That's typically what you want to do with text, right? So there's a just easy way to click through. By the way, made it an envelope, meaning it's inside. So here's my alien group. Here's the envelope, and I can edit this text and say, you know, we, for instance, we come in peace, right? You get the idea. Okay, going back out, selecting this text here. For this text, with it selected, I was editing the contents, but I could edit the envelope, so I could change it to any one of those other settings right in there. Okay, so I'm actually going to change the font because I think it's going to be more fun if it had an interesting font. So let's actually jump in there, select this text, all of it, and change it to something else really fast. There is a cool font in here somewhere. This one, Fusaka. Oh yeah, Fusaka. There we are. I like Fusaka. Let me go back down to it. F-G-A-E-F. There it is. Let's just go ahead and favorite it. That's all I was doing. Favoriting it. There we have it. Let's move on. All right, that's done. Okay, so let's move on from there. Annie, how are you doing? Lamia, awesome. So this is what I want to do here, right? So I have this text. Let's just kind of move that off. I have my character, right? He desperately needs to be, I need to change the color of this character. But let's take this landscape, for instance, right? So now I want to do distortion, but I want to really control what gets distorted. In this case, I'm actually going to use, right behind the width tool, there's these different warp, twirl, pucker, bloat, scallop, crystallize, wrinkle. Right now we can have some fun with this. I'm going to select warp. I'm going to double click on that tool, and I'm going to see that the intensity is set to about 60% and the width and height is about 500 pixels. But this just allows me to kind of pull and mess with this landscape to make this a little bit more interesting. So we'll put some mountains in the background, pulling a little bit of this up, and again, making it look more interesting. I can actually increase the intensity up to 100, and let's drop this width down to 100 and the height down to 100, and just kind of pull that up and make some interesting sort of like stalagmites? I don't know. Anyways, some landforms is what I'm doing in this case, making an interesting mountain range over there. Cool. So this is how I typically distort and pull and transform more specifically certain objects. Okay. This gets more interesting too if we throw a spaceship in here. Right here we have a spaceship. For this spaceship, hey, let's go ahead and give him some jets. So we'll just draw out a circle, and let's do this. Let's play with the gradient just a little bit. Shall we? There it is. Zoop. There we are. I'm going to do the same thing using the warp tool. Taking down the size, I'm holding down the option key, so that's actually how I could shrink it manually. Like that. And I'll start pulling it down like so. Now I'm making just some flames, some jet flames, if you will. 50. There we are. Making them even smaller, something like that. You get the idea. I could do the same thing on the other side, or I could just duplicate this one. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. Move this over. Go back to that tool. This one's a little bit smaller, but either way, this will look pretty good. Just adding some flames right there. You get the idea. Shrinking that down. Cool. All right. So, hello, Veronica, who's from Ecuador, who's in Thailand right now. Awesome. So here's my spaceship. Let's group this together, shrink it down, put it back there, something like that, right, as part of our landscape. Let's take a couple other shapes. All right, let's do something like this. Right, so I have two separate shapes. I'm actually going to put them on this space layer back here, okay? And this time I'm going to select the Twirl Tool. Now let's take a look at the size of the Twirl Tool. I'm going to crank this up to like 500 again, right? Intensity, that's actually really intense. Let's go down to 50. And with this Twirl Tool, we can have some fun, like making just a cool sort of, what would you call this? Galaxy kind of in the background. If I hold down the Option key, hold on, wait for it. Let's just double click on this. Right down in here, the twirl rate's at 40. All right. Again, just kind of resetting that, but there's just a fun little, I don't know, galaxy in the background, right? You can see that. Taking that, I would definitely want to change it some more, but let's put one there. Let's put one over here. Let's play with it a little bit more. Making this brush size even larger. Like that. And having fun just kind of twirling around what was once just a simple circle. Cool. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm just having fun in good old Illustrator, showing you how you can distort shapes and make some fun things all in Illustrator. So that's about it. Amir, thanks for, I'm glad you like it. Fantastic. Lamia, Shahid, cool. Awesome. So that's all I have for you. This is actually my final version that I made. So we come in peace. There you have it. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm going to be covering this in more detail in a second on Adobe Live. Here's the link. I'll post it one more time just so everybody has it. There you go. Cool. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you hanging out with me on this fine Thursday, and we will chat soon.